Love is in the air, or its romance deals are in the air. Hello everybody, welcome to a video. This one is going to be all about these brand new romance deals that have entered into the store, and also I'm just going to cast my thoughts on some of them, whether or not I feel they're good, they're bad, they're ugly, but also the bundles and trying to acquire units in a very short space of time. Do bear in mind we do have 6 days in order to acquire some of the units, in order to get some of these bundles. We're going to look at what is potentially a amount of units you could get if you are looking to pick up one or many of these deals, because you're like, oh, I really want to get them and I really want to get them now. Also, for some people, the forums may be down. This message. I was going to access something because we've had an event that was announced late last night. And didn't have enough time to make a video on it because, you know, people do sleep. They sleep. People sleep nowadays. So yeah, there's this pops up about maintenance. So yeah, I don't know. That maybe it's down. But in any case, we're going to talk about these romance bundles and other stuff that's acquired with it. First of all, shout out to Yorick, who sends through all of the Thronebreaker deals. Thanks for doing that. And yeah, by the way, if anybody hasn't noticed, my microphone is on top of a Thor's hammer. There's a reason for that. It's because the microphone stand, which I'm about to replace, isn't holding the weight. So it's a bit weird. Just run with it, people. But yeah, Thronebreaker deals, okay? There's plenty spread across different areas. We've obviously got the classic Kabama throwing relics at your face and going, hey, you must kind of get involved with this. We're going to talk about values and depreciation in a moment. And one of the many top tips I would say with a lot of this is if you're close to anything, if you're close to forming anything or close to anything in particular that you feel that this would be advantageous for, you've got a Romance Synergy champion and you want to put a Awakening gem on it, this could be a good opportunity if you've got 3,000 units. Other than that, there's a lot of things to avoid, especially because a lot of the time it feels like you're having to spend a lot more units to acquire stuff that's going to depreciate by Cyber Weekend 2023. That's a given fact with this stuff. But if you're close to certain things or want to get a shot of a new champion, Selectors, anything that allows you to specifically target something are going to be better options rather than pissing in the wind with something that you're like, oh, I'm only going to get like a little snifter of a kind of like close to a class catalyst, for example. And it's very much the case in Paragon and Tier 6 class catalyst. I would say target if you have anything new, but look at the low cost of units. Don't look to excessively spend on any kind of like unit, because you're like, oh, like, I mean, here, it's fun if you want a Cavalier Nexus Crystal. Fun, I guess, for 250 units. Fun for 1,000 units. 1,000 6-star shards. But do bear in mind, you can go to Battlegrounds. You can go to a lot of different areas in game and get the stuff for free. Saving units in the trouble and holding out for stuff in July 4th weekend. Do bear in mind, something to point out is that we haven't, or we won't know until about April time what is going to be the next deal at the end of an act. So Act 8.2, for example, when that drops, there's going to be a deal. Is that deal going to be better for you saving your units for? Will you have enough units in the time? Rumor is it's April that the 8.2 goes in. But that's not confirmed, so we have to see what we're going to do with that one. In any case, there are some good things within Thronebreaker to get, especially if you're looking to get close to something. A Selector for 900 units, okay. If you're low on your rank up resources, at least you got that. There's a lot. I think there's a lot more bundles in Thronebreaker than there is for Paragon, because there's only 6. No, it is the same amount. It's the same amount. That's good. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything that overly jumps out at me. I would say if you're close to rank 4ing a 6-star, that may be the only thing of advantageous for you. And yeah, like the depreciation, maybe better to wait till July 4th deals. But if you're desperate to get that first rank 4 6-star or the last rank 4 6-star, then indeed consider it if you're a Thronebreaker. And that's the same thing if you're Cavalier. If you're close to forming something, go for it. Those kind of things. So one major thing that I want to point out is depreciation. Okay, so we're going to go into game right now. I need to bring up my my notes on the Paragon deals as well. So obviously one of the main things is saving units. If you want to save units, save units. The depreciation side of things in the Paragon deals is striking. When you kind of go from, I think it was like Cyber Weekend deals, the 5-star relic crystal was kind of put at a higher platform of acquisition. So the price of it for a unit spend was a lot more than it is right now at 3,000 units. That's a big depreciation of that one. And we said about this. We said about this particular month with the event quest is you're seeing a lot more 5-star relic shards come into your possession if you are willing to go out and grind for them. So that's just the thing, isn't it? Kabam are now looking at as a depreciation. It's still too high. You can even go to like Battlegrounds and you kind of look at some of the cost for 5-star, 4-star shards of relics, and it's like 2,250 trophy tokens for 175 relic shards. No, thank you. That's way too high for what it is. Especially looking at you get a 100 4-star ones for 50. Yes, okay, there's a difference in like what the crystal costs, but you can really see how Kabam are starting to slowly depreciate these particular relics. Especially because why would they put something up so high that's not extensively game breaking and not a lot of players are interested in? So you see a lot of these kind of like trends reoccurring. They've done it in the past with things like 6 stars, 5 stars, you know, and it will be the case that 6 stars will start to devalue and depreciate at some point in the next year or two. Say that, you know, you can say like, that's not true, but it is. It's same thing with 4 stars, the same thing with 5 stars. So you're gonna see it. There's been more 5-star shards added in recently. So. Yeah, and that's another thing as well. If you can get by saving your units and going to other areas of the game for free to grab some of these items, then that might be an option. Granted, if you want to make those kind of quick gains for things, like, for example, then there will be one thing that will be a bit contentious, and that is the 25% tier 6 class catalyst fragment crystal. It's still a shot in the dark in order to get one specific of all the classes, you know, a little bit of tier 6 class catalyst. Would you argue 3,750 units is a lot less than the last time that there was a deal like this? Possibly, because the thing is that deal had, I think, the end of Act 8.1 had a lot more kind of gumph to it, a lot more kind of like items that will kind of be more beneficial. So again, it's down to a personal preference if you want to kind of save up or you want to go for that one. And I'm sure that a lot of kind of endgame players will quite happily go for all 4 just because, and if there are more whales really, not free to play, being very careful about it. But I would say all those units, like, you could save back, like, and that's the biggest thing to kind of point out there. If you haven't 100%ed EOP, and then you might be kind of like going, well, to be honest, might kind of save my units for EOP. I mean, I'm considering it now. I'm actually thinking not doing Thronebreaker, focusing on Battlegrounds, Incursions, Arena, and acquisition of revives and health potions, and doing EOP this month. I'm actually really strongly considering it, especially because I'm just not... Something about the event quest this month, it just doesn't seem like there's... it's just a bit so I think I'm just going to do that, especially because the chase rewards for where I'm currently at in the game, where I need to take my free to play account, my non-spending account now, it is kind of more in that kind of route of kind of grind. However, though, I would say there's one deal that I find quite interesting, and that is here. If I was to do any kind of deal or grab any kind of deal, it would be this, the Romance Bundle 4. Yes, it doesn't have any rank up resources, but it does have a Romance Awakening gem. If there's a specific champion within your roster that you're like, well, I don't want to spend one of my generic 6-star gems on, but I'd like to kind of like get something from this, then what about something that's specific to a romance champion? And you could have like a Hulkling, you could have a Null, you could have a whole plethora of champions that you could use this on. That would actually be good to, number 1, awaken, but number 2, take it up by 50 signatures. It's actually a really good thing to do. I'm sure people would disagree with that, but I do think that it's quite good, because 6-star awakening gems are hard to come by and hard to find in a regularity. And the second thing is signature stones. It means if you're doing romance specific ones here, those 50, it could mean that you might go, right, well, I won't spend all my Battlegrounds trophy tokens on those particular champions and go, let's specifically go for this here, because this is actually a relatively good deal. And for everything else, yeah, if you want to rank up, this gives an opportunity for a Paragon player to rank up a champion to rank 4. Yes, it's 4,500 units, but again, you could be asking that same question. If I took those 4,500 units, added a stash to it of items, and I haven't done EOP, then you could go, right, well, I could do EOP for free. You could even kind of like take those units and kind of invest them elsewhere. But yeah, like if you haven't done Karina's Challenges Volume 3 and EOP, then it could be a better advantageous opportunity to kind of take those units and use it elsewhere. But yeah, if you've got a high plethora of units and you spend your units how you see fit, we're going to be doing a video on, and shout out to Super Duper Boo on the idea for this. It's an idea of like a tier list for spending units, where the best places are to spend units, and whether or not it's a case of like spending them within content or other areas. It's you know, it's going to be like interesting to find out what players think about that. But if you're looking to grab yourself some last minute units in the last kind of like few days, as these particular deals run for 6 days at the point of recording this video, then you could get potentially the following. So if you're doing non-arena, because you don't like arena, then you could get 850 units by Alliance 3-day events. There may be another one, so it could be 75, but you know, it's a case of like, let's just go with 50. Solo events, you could pick up 150, maybe a little bit more. It just depends on these 22-hour rotations. 50 from calendar, uncollected 150, master 150, and heroic and normal 150 if you've got the energy in order to spend within it. So it's 850 plus a small little arena grind of, well, a high-end grind you'd have to really do. You could get a 1,464 units from doing some of the various different arenas up to a certain milestone. And then if you get good RNG, you get 300 units, even more than that. I'm not saying that that's a definite, it's just a case of like, look, let's be a bit pessimistic here. So you could be more. You could be getting yourself about 3k units, you could be getting less, something like that. Added in together, you know, you've got a good amount. Just rough ideas, rough kind of like units acquisition you could get. So if you're thinking about doing a grind and you want to skim some extra units to kind of get some of these bundles, then indeed you could do that. And yeah, that's been the video, and I hope you're doing well, by the way. And we may have another video today. I'm just thinking of what's happening with this forum, which is a bit of a weird thing. But yeah, that's been a video. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure as well to check out some other content located on here. We'll be getting some of these bundles. Are there certain bundles you actually rate? Put it in the comment section down below. And I'll see you later on for another video. Much love and goodbye.